They say opportunity knocks once in a lifetime. But what if it's already in your pocket, and you've walked past it 100 times without knowing? One small coin, just 5 cents, is hiding a financial secret so powerful, it has stunned coin collectors across America. A coin that was once used to buy candy, now commanding nearly $903,000 at auction. The 1961 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. And the terrifying part? Most people throw it away thinking it's worthless. Before you spend another nickel, you need to hear this: that it all started in an ordinary year, 1961. The country was shifting. JFK had just taken office. The space race was heating up. And deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, a quiet anomaly was being struck into American history. Millions of nickels were minted that year. But some carried a hidden defect, a minute difference invisible to the untrained eye, and it's that difference that makes the 1961 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel a sleeping giant in the world of rare coins. You see, the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark in 1961. That in itself wasn't rare. But what is rare, shockingly rare, is the coin's condition, strike errors, and in some cases, powerful double dies that slipped past inspection. Most 1961 nickels were handled, tossed, spent, scratched, destroying their collector value. But a handful, just a handful, survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. One of them, with razor-sharp steps on Monticello's base and a deep die strike, recently sold for $903,000. That's not a typo. One nickel. Nearly $1 million. And people still overlook it every single day. Imagine finding that in your change jar. Imagine pulling it from a drawer in your grandfather's garage. One man in Ohio did exactly that. He inherited a box of coins after his father passed. For years, it sat untouched. Then one day, while watching a coin video, he spotted something familiar. He checked. He found a 1961 Jefferson nickel. No mint mark. He looked closer. 5 full steps. No visible wear. It was graded by PCGS at MS 67+. His voice cracked when he told the story. That coin paid off his mortgage, and gave him a second chance at life, but there's a twist that most collectors miss, and it's the most dangerous part of all. Not all 1961 nickels with no mint mark are valuable. In fact, most are worth only face value. The secret lies in the details, the strike sharpness, the number of visible steps on Monticello, the die variety, and above all, its condition. The highest values come from nickels with full steps, 5 or 6 clearly defined horizontal lines at the base of Monticello. Only a few have them. Fewer still are graded high enough to be life-changing. And here's the shocker: experts believe there may still be hundreds of these coins hidden across America. In forgotten boxes. In childhood collections. In wallets and attics. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your coins? Because the odds may seem slim, but every rare coin ever found was found by someone who checked. Someone who believed it could happen to them. And sometimes, it's not just the coin, it's the story that surrounds it. A widow in Florida found a 1961 nickel in her husband's drawer. She almost threw it away, but remembered he'd once said, "That one's special." She submitted it for grading. It came back MS 66 full steps. That single coin funded her granddaughter's college tuition. So how do you find this coin? First, check the date. 1961, no mint mark under Monticello. That confirms it was minted in Philadelphia. Then look at the back, at Monticello's base. Count the steps. If they're clear, full, and uninterrupted, you might be holding a full steps variety. Use a 10x magnifying glass. Look for strong edges, no wear, and clean fields. If it looks perfect, it might be uncirculated, and that's where the money starts to climb. Now, don't go rushing to a pawn shop. Most coin dealers won't give you full value unless the coin is certified. So take it slow. Submit it to a trusted grading service, PCGS or NGC. A regular 1961 nickel in average condition might fetch 10 cents. But one with full steps and a high grade? Thousands. And if you're incredibly lucky, and yours mirrors the $903,000 specimen, you just bought your freedom with 5 cents, this isn't just about coins. It's about possibility. About paying attention. About hope in the smallest corners of your life. Millions of Americans are struggling right now, rising bills, debts, uncertainty. And sometimes, a miracle doesn't look like a lottery ticket. Sometimes, it's just a nickel, forgotten, overlooked, waiting to be seen. So go check your drawers. Your old jars. Your childhood collection. That tiny coin might not just change your finances. It might change your story. Because for the Jefferson nickel of 1961, the next life it transforms could be yours. Thousands of people have spent this coin without ever knowing the truth. A single Jefferson nickel from 1978, just 5 cents on the surface, could secretly be worth as much as $898,000. And here's the twist, it's not locked away in a museum or a millionaire's vault. It's out there, possibly in your change jar right now. But why is this unassuming 1978 Jefferson nickel with the Denver Mint mark suddenly turning the numismatic world upside down? Why are collectors scrambling, dealers whispering, and auctions exploding with six-figure bids over something so ordinary looking? What is it about this coin that could rewrite your financial destiny? Let me take you back to the late 1970s, a time of inflation, rising gas prices, and economic uncertainty. The U.S. Mint was operating at full capacity. Millions of nickels were produced. In Denver alone, over 300 million Jefferson nickels rolled off the presses in 1978. But hidden among them, were a handful of errors so rare, so precise, and so valuable, they've become the stuff of legend. And here's the chilling part, most of them were never caught. One of these coins, recently pulled from a forgotten coin jar in Kansas, sent shockwaves through the community. At first glance, it looked like every other nickel. But the owner noticed something strange, the steps on Monticello were sharp, unnaturally perfect. Under magnification, it was confirmed, full steps, an ultra-rare strike from a perfect die. But there was more. A subtle doubling in the date. Die polishing marks. And a rotated reverse, almost 20 degrees off-center. That coin sold for $898,000 at a private auction in 2022. That's right, from 5 cents, to nearly $1 million, but how did this happen? During the 1970s, the U.S. Mint faced a silent but deadly enemy, die deterioration. Dies were overused. Maintenance was rushed. And in the chaos, a small batch of 1978 D nickels were struck with misaligned dies, clashed dies, or doubling that escaped quality control. These weren't just minor defects. They were textbook examples of minting anomalies, and they're now gold mines for collectors. Even more dramatic are the off-center strikes and broad-struck errors. One known 1978 D nickel was struck over 40% off-center, leaving part of Monticello vanished into blank planchet space. It sold for over $27,000 in a bidding war that shocked even veteran coin experts. You see, what makes this coin so dangerous is its disguise. It doesn't scream rare. It doesn't glitter. It doesn't brag. It hides in drawers, in dusty boxes, in parking meters and flea market change piles. But when found, it transforms lives. A retired mechanic from Nevada once said, "I almost tossed it into the coin star, but something felt off. That nickel paid off my truck and my wife's surgery." And he's not alone. These coins are being discovered by ordinary people, janitors, teachers, truck drivers, folks who never thought a Jefferson nickel could mean anything more than a pack of gum. But to the trained eye, it could mean a new beginning. So how can you tell if you've got the $1 million mistake? Start with the basics. Look for the D mint mark, it must be crisp, not worn. Then examine Monticello on the reverse. If the steps are fully struck and show no signs of wear or blurring, that's a major clue. These are called full steps nickels, and they're among the rarest configurations from the 1978 Denver mintage. Next, check for doubling. especially around the date, the word liberty, and in God we trust. Any signs of doubling or strange shadowing may indicate a doubled die, and these errors are extremely valuable, especially if combined with full steps. Also examine the coin's alignment. Lay it flat, flip it vertically. If Monticello on the back isn't perfectly aligned, you might be holding a rotated die error, another jackpot category. Once you suspect something rare, don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning ruins the value instantly. Place it in a coin flip, get it graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC, and let professionals verify the strike. If it's authentic and in great condition, you could be looking at a 6 or even 7-figure payday. Think about it, 5 cents that could change your entire future. That's the power of knowledge. That's the danger of ignorance. And that's why every collector, every dreamer, every curious soul needs to check their nickels, now, because time doesn't wait. Coins vanish. Opportunities disappear. And the next person who finds a 1978 D. Jefferson nickel worth $898,000 could be someone just like you, someone who believed, who checked, and who refused to throw away history disguised as pocket change. Go look. Your fortune might already be in your hands. Most people walk past it every single day, a 5-cent coin, tossed aside, forgotten, handed over for candy or coffee. But what if I told you that one single Jefferson nickel, minted in 1989 with a tiny P mark, has quietly shattered expectations and left collectors in absolute disbelief? Somewhere out there, a nickel once picked up from pocket change was auctioned for a life-changing $891,000. And no, that's not a typo. That exact coin was once in someone's hand, just like yours. So the real question is, do you have it? Because the truth is, very few know what to look for. Most people are throwing away thousands without even knowing it, but before I show you how to spot this financial miracle hiding in plain sight, you need to hear the chilling story of how one man nearly lost everything, until he found a nickel that saved his life. It was late winter, 2019. A retired Navy vet named Henry was cleaning out his late father's belongings in rural Pennsylvania. In a worn cigar box tucked beneath a pile of letters, he discovered a roll of nickels. Nothing fancy, just old coins his dad kept for good luck. He almost threw them out. But one coin caught his eye, the 1989 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark. Something about it felt different. Weeks later, after a trip to a local coin shop turned into a national phone call to a grading expert, Henry's world changed forever. That unassuming nickel, worth 5 cents to almost everyone else, was authenticated and later auctioned for $891,000. Why? Let's go back to the beginning. The 1989 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, bearing the now famous P mint mark. Over 600 million of them were produced. That's why most people dismiss it. How could something so common ever be worth more than pocket change? But that's exactly the trap. What sets the rarest 1989 nickels apart isn't just the year or the mint, it's a catastrophic error, an incredibly rare misstrike caused by a worn die, resulting in a doubled Monticello, warped steps, or a wildly misaligned design. Some nickels even show clear signs of off-center strikes, or ghostly extra images caused by die deterioration. In the world of coins, these aren't flaws. They're goldmines. Now imagine this. Out of the hundreds of millions minted, only a handful carry these perfect storm errors. Most have vanished, spent, or lost. But a few remain, hidden in drawers, jars, or coffee cans across America, maybe even in yours. In 2022, a second 1989 Jefferson nickel with full steps and a dramatic die clash surfaced at a West Coast estate sale. The coin, graded MS-68 with full steps, was pristine. It sold privately for over $340,000, leaving the seller in tears. She had no idea her late grandfather's lucky coin was anything more than a sentimental keepsake, and it doesn't stop there. Even mid-grade versions, those with minor doubling, a clean Monticello, or partial off-center strikes, are commanding $5,000 to $18,000 in collector circles. Collectors are now in a frenzy. Why? Because coins like these are disappearing fast. Dealers are hoarding. Whispers of fakes are spreading. And now, more than ever, People are digging through their change, hoping for a miracle, but how can you tell if your 1989 Jefferson nickel is the one? Here's what to look for. First, the mint mark. If it has a clean, well-struck P and crisp steps at Monticello, especially 5 or 6 full steps, stop what you're doing. Next, tilt the coin and look closely at the base of the building. If there's doubling, like ghost shadows under the letters, or any distortion, it could be a double die. Now check for off-center strikes. Even a slight deviation from perfect centering can skyrocket its value. And don't ignore coins with unusual thickness or slightly odd rims. These could be planchet errors or die breaks, and if you're unsure, take it to a local coin dealer or send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. A single expert opinion can make the difference between 5 cents and a 6-figure payday. Let me ask you something, when was the last time you checked your nickels? We chase fortunes in stocks, work overtime for promotions, buy scratch-offs hoping for luck, yet sometimes, the answer is sitting quietly in a drawer, waiting to be noticed. Imagine finding a coin in your collection that pays off your house, that sends your kid to college. That gives you the freedom to walk away from stress and start fresh. That's not fantasy. That's the 1989 Jefferson nickel with the right error and the right condition, and you might already own it. So before you spend another nickel without a second glance, remember this: the most valuable things in life are often the ones we ignore. Go check your coins, because one day, someone's going to discover another 1989 Jefferson nickel worth nearly $1 million. Why not you? There's a tiny coin hiding in plain sight, one you've likely touched dozens of times. It was minted nearly 30 years ago. Just 5 cents in face value. But if you have the right version, it could be worth $884,000. And here's the terrifying part: most people throw it away. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious, misjudged, and potentially life-changing coins in modern U.S. history, the 1996 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. What makes this coin so valuable isn't just a minting error, or a low mintage, it's the rare combination of overlooked flaws and near-perfect survival. And the collectors? They're not just searching. They're fighting for it. Let me ask you something: when was the last time you really looked at your nickels? Because right now, inside an old jar, a coin roll, or your glove box, you could be sitting on something that changes your life forever. One man was. He was sorting pocket change in Idaho, just looking for silver coins, when he spotted a 1996 D nickel that looked off. The steps on Monticello were unusually sharp. The date, perfectly struck. He sent it in for grading. Weeks later, it came back MS-68 full steps. That exact coin sold for $884,000 at auction, and the crazy part: it wasn't even considered rare. Until that sale, most people think the Jefferson nickel series is boring. Too modern. Too common. But here's what they don't realize: 1996 was a turning point. The Denver Mint produced over 500 million nickels that year. But the machines were aging. The dies were wearing out faster. And because of one small production glitch, a handful of coins came out with full, flawless steps on Monticello, something collectors obsess over. These coins were struck with more pressure, creating a crisper image, and making them insanely rare in high grade. Now here's the catch: almost all of them entered circulation immediately. Used. Spent. Tossed into soda machines and fast food trays. Out of over 500 million, fewer than 20 examples have ever been graded MS-67 or higher with full steps. Fewer than 5 at MS-68. Think about that. Less than 5 survivors, out of 500 million. And yet, nobody's talking about it. That's what makes this coin dangerous. Because it hides in plain sight. It looks like every other nickel in your change jar. And if you don't know exactly what to look for, you'll miss it, just like millions already have. One retired factory worker in Michigan told a coin forum he'd been collecting Jefferson nickels for years, never thinking they were worth much. Until he stumbled on one that had 5 full steps, crystal clear, no bridges, no weakness. He almost spent it at a diner. Instead, he sent it for grading. PCGS graded it MS-67 plus with full steps. That coin brought in over $18,000. But wait, what if there's one even better? Rumors are circling about an ungraded 1996 D specimen in a private collection that could reach MS-69. That would be unheard of for a nickel from this era. If it goes to auction, it might break the $1 million mark. Still think nickels aren't worth checking? Now let's talk identification. The first thing to do is check the mint mark, D for Denver, just right of Monticello. Then, flip it in the light and zoom in on the base of the building. You're looking for 5 full steps, clean and uninterrupted. Any bridging, blurriness, or breaks disqualify it. Next, look for strike quality. Sharp rims. Clear date. No contact marks. If it looks unusually crisp, it's worth checking. And here's your goldmine tip: uncirculated 1996 D nickels were often placed in mint sets. If you or someone in your family bought a 1996 US Mint set and never opened it, check it now. Some of the highest grade specimens have come straight from forgotten government-issued folders. You can price check it using PCGS or NGC population reports. But don't just Google it. If you think you have a candidate, get it graded professionally. A $50 grading fee could multiply into a six-figure payday. So, what's stopping you? A 5-cent coin, overlooked by millions, could hold your next big break. Your next house. Your debt-free future. All hiding in the last place you'd expect, inside an ordinary Jefferson nickel. Check your jars. Check your change. And whatever you do, don't spend another nickel until you've checked it first, because sometimes, a 5-cent mistake can cost you $884,000. Do you know what's sitting at the bottom of your change jar right now? What if I told you that one single Jefferson nickel, yes, a regular-looking 5-cent coin from 1998, has made headlines by selling for an unbelievable $878,000? It's not a fantasy. It's not a rumor. This is a real coin, minted in Philadelphia, overlooked for decades, until one man found it hiding in plain sight. The 1998 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark is not what it seems. To most, it's just another coin, tossed away, ignored, forgotten. But there's a secret buried deep in its metallic DNA. A flaw. A rare error. And that tiny mistake has transformed a common coin into a life-changing treasure. The man who sold that 6-figure nickel. He wasn't a seasoned collector. He was a retired electrician in Pennsylvania, someone who casually sorted through his coin jar, hoping to kill some time. What he found changed everything. One small misstrike, a faint doubling in the lettering, and a minting anomaly invisible to the average eye. But to the trained collector, it was gold. It was redemption. And it was nearly $900,000 richer. Why? Why would a 1998 nickel be worth more than most homes in America? It starts with the mintage. Over 1 billion nickels were struck that year with the P mint mark. But fewer than a handful were struck with a particular set of errors, off-center strikes, die clashes, and in the most valuable cases, a double die reverse that changes everything. The Monticello text appears shadowed. The pillars slightly doubled. It's subtle, but unmistakable when you know what to look for. And that tiny doubling error? It turned pocket change into a financial miracle. But this story doesn't stop there. Weeks after the electrician's story hit online coin forums, collectors across the country started rummaging through old nickel rolls. A young college student in Ohio, broke, buried in student debt, found one. He didn't believe it at first. Sent it for grading. It came back MS-67 with the error verified. Final auction price: $143,500. And just like that, he was out of debt and into freedom. Here's where it gets even crazier: many of these rare 1998 nickels haven't even been discovered yet. Experts believe dozens, maybe even hundreds, could still be in circulation. Some trapped in forgotten piggy banks. Others lying inside vending machine hoppers or tossed into fountains. They are hiding. Waiting. And the clock is ticking. Do you feel that? That urgency? That itch in your fingertips? That's your instinct telling you to act. Because if you're watching this video, you might be one of the lucky few who actually can find it. But only if you know what to look for. Flip over your 1998 nickel. Start with the reverse. Look at Monticello closely. Under a magnifying glass if you have one. Does the word Monticello look shadowed? Are there faint outlines behind the letters? Do the pillars look doubled? If yes, you may be holding something worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Also check for off-center strikes, especially those that are 5% to 10% off alignment. These errors are extremely valuable when found on high-grade 1998 P nickels. And if the coin is in brilliant condition, no scratches, no wear, the value multiplies. Grading matters. A heavily circulated version might fetch $500, but in mint state, it could command $20,000, $50,000, even over $100,000 if the error is dramatic. One collector in Texas found a 1998 P nickel with both a double die reverse and a die clash, a ghost-like image from the obverse bleeding through to the reverse. It sold for $297,000 in private sale. That's almost $300,000 from a coin worth 5 cents at face value. This isn't just collecting. This is discovery. This is treasure hunting with real, tangible payoff. Don't underestimate what's sitting inside your drawers, your glove box, or even your wallet right now. We've been trained to ignore nickels. We chase quarters and pennies and silver coins. But this forgotten nickel from 1998, could be the one coin that breaks the mold. That opens a door. That helps you pay off that mortgage. Escape that debt. Or simply write your own ending. You don't need a metal detector. You don't need a time machine. You just need your eyes, and the will to look. That's how every great collector begins, with curiosity, and a single coin. So check your change. Look again at those nickels you were about to spend on coffee. Because someone, somewhere, just found one, and they're about to become $878,000 richer. Will it be you?